I'll be sharing, or you want to share, and then, oh, never mind.
You can start our
Okay,
signal
we're
to
to
gate
go
12.
live now. Okay, we are. Let me see. Gotta love technology because, yeah, we are live. Here I am. Okay.
Here I am.
Hmm. Infinite Vibrillionaire Soul greetings and blessings. We are live for another Signal 2 Gate 12 of the Vibrillionaire Convo-Sessions Portal of Remembrance podcast. Now, I know you've been seeing us do podcast for a while, but a podcast is simply information. We're here to share remembrance that you are not alone, that you are seen, you are heard, you are felt, not by us per se, but by the field itself that we witness and that we mirror together. So we're here to share about Gate 12 that uh, today is October 25th, 2025. So for those of you that work with numbers, 10, 25, 25, and then we're Gate 12, which represents the Trinity, the two merging as one, disappearing as presence itself. This is not even a play on words. If you investigate your own experience with life itself, it will confirm this. We don't have to prove this. This is the beautiful thing that Michael attempted to try to prove reality itself. But the more he tried to prove it, the more he got more confused. But when he surrendered to what reality proves itself as, then it's like you could just let go and trust the whole entire process and the whole entire algorithm and programming and all of itself because life takes care of itself. And this wasn't planned today, but if you think about it, how much have we thought we have been advanced society, but yet nature does it greater than any technology can ever even imagine. And what we mean by this is look how connected we are. Look how so much convenience we have. Look how so much information informed we have at our fingertips, but yet the collective, 97% of the collective feels more lost, more hopeless, more powerless, more afraid, more attacked than ever before, more more confused than ever before, more separate than ever before, which in reality, if we look at everything that we have at our disposal, we should be experiencing the opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and share this, beloved. If you want to, continue this beautiful unfolding that today is really about the mirror of the journey of the unity and breath, because we already are one. We already know this. We feel this. We're here to share and ripple this remembrance that we're not here to prove anything. We stand as witnesses to what we know deep inside of our heart that already is. So go ahead and take it away, and then we're going to be sharing here.
Okay, how exciting. So let's start with the numbers, with the one and the two. So the one, according to me, represents the I am, the oneness, the fact that we are all one. And when we say we are all one, it's all aspects of this illusion, the trees, the animals, the planet, all each of us separate humanoid avatars. It's all of us are one, part of one breathing organism on one planet, Mother Earth, that is one little speck of dust in the entire cosmos, and we are all one. When we inhabit our individual biosuits, we have a forgetfulness and a separation from the understanding that we are one, one with each other and one with the divine and the cosmos, as I just said. And what ends up happening in the illusion, in the Maya Jal of being incarnate in this at this point in time, we inhabit a dualistic nature. And so then the whole duality basically feeds into the illusion, the night and the day, and the right and the wrong, and the evil and the saints and the sinners, and etc., etc. And as long as we remain in that duality, that idea that we are separate from each other, um, there is discontent. It's only when we come back to the breath, we come back to the heart space, and we truly understand that we are one and the same, and each person is each other's mirrors. Now, sometimes the mirror can show an inverted image, as mirrors do. And the reason for that is for us to reflect and learn a lesson. And sometimes the mirror is just a clear crystal reflection of oneself, which is what happened when Michael and I met. And as I was telling him yesterday, I was making all the reels from all the book signings I did when I was in Yuma. So I felt very close again to the whole family, and to hear the things that were said and the emotions that were shared when we converged and became a family. And that is what is the one. It is when we say family, that is what we are hoping to return to, that feeling of oneness with the divine, that unconditional love. And I haven't put it up yet, but Cora, which is Michael's wife, she basically was talking about witnessing his and my relationship, meeting each other, being able to just see beyond a whole illusion and really just see each other as aspects of each other, and that oneness, and finding this unconditional, pure love that transcends all labels. And we've been given all the different labels. We've said the Shiv, Shakti, divine, feminine, divine, masculine, and we even became brother and sister with his mom calling me her daughter. And so, we've checked all the boxes. All the labels belong to us. And at the same time, none of them do, because ultimately we are all one and there is no separation.
Yes.
And so we come together every week to reflect these conversations through our shared and individual experiences of how our life has changed once we've really accepted the shared breath, um, and started walking this Vibrillionaire path, and being so high in the vibration of gratitude and blessing every moment of every day, and how that's transformed our lives individually and together. And yeah, that's all we can do is witness and account or recount our adventures to y'all when you sign in every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon Eastern. And those of you who catch the replay now or sometime in the future, because time also is an illusion.
That it is. That it is. And such a beautiful thing that you mirrored, because I mean, it's like when you try to explain how an orange tastes, but you never tasted an orange. This is what we're attempting to do on this podcast, because life experience will share more than thousands of books can try to convey. And the mind seeks, the mind chases, the mind strives to prove something right. But the minute that it proves something right, it it separates reality to try to convince itself why it's wrong, because it's its own pattern of self-preservation. Because if you think about it, the minute that we have a thought, or we think about something, or we do something, we access the polar opposite of it. This is the mind's play on duality. The heart receives all of it and it burns everything in the one. This is why it's not easy to follow your heart. This is why when you take a project, you get to face parts of yourself that are quote unquote holding you back, that are quote unquote calling you forward, because this is the polarity that the mind thinks that, you know, that life is separate, that life is divided, that life is dualistic. And this is not a bad thing. I'm seeing I have something on my I have the thing there. But the point is that the mind, it's not even invested in our survival. It's not invested in our pleasure, in our pain. It's invested in its preserving its own identity. It does not feel pain or pleasure. It feels frequency, it feels energy. And when we really look behind, this is why no matter who you work with, no matter what somebody goes through, if you just funnel or whatever, you just like distill, you filter everything down. We all function the same way. But when we create all these stories, we appear to be separate and we appear to, oh, this person was a drug addict. Oh, and this person was addicted to success. It's the same thing. It's just a different language that we perceive that we think is different. So this is why, we even hear people say, oh, well, I don't really have that strong of a story, so I don't really think I could share. Oh, so you're waiting to have a more chaotic story so you can share what your story is, and you have no idea who it's going to impact. You have no idea because it's not even about the story that you share. It's about the realness that you come from that speaks beyond the mind to the heart of the experience that is experiencing through every one of us, the experiencer that is experiencing through every one of us, the observer, the awareness, whatever these words are all the same thing. It's just we try to explain it so many different ways. But yet this is the fun thing about being in the human experience is we had to have all this contrast, all this buffet of experience. Because imagine if anybody's ever watched Pleasantville, I know that's not a good example because in reality that's who we are. But but imagine having the same story, the same experience, the same identity, and no one being any different. It'd be a boring reality. A boring reality. So the thing that you judge is the reason why the soul is so grateful to be here, because even to exist now, you decided to come to forget everything that you are, to experience pain and pleasure, suffering and beauty, because we can't even speak to that, because attempting to speak to that is trying to speak for the universe itself, and your experience will share what that means to you, because what matters is what does this mean to you. This is why this is not another podcast, is what does this mean to you? And even as you hear this message, who is the one speaking? Like when you hear this message, if there's resistance, like why is there resistance? If there's acceptance, what are you accepting? Because we don't want to program more programming. Like, we don't want you to think this is true just because we say it. We want you to, and we invite ourselves to investigate, as we do still to this day, investigate, why does this feel this way? Why does this sound this way? Who is the one speaking? Is it my old, 13-year-old that, thought that life was against him and thought he was the bad luck of the world and all of that? Is that the one speaking? Or is the one speaking the one that's living in the future, that's not living now, that's waiting for reality to change, or for humanity to get it, but I'm not getting it? Like, what is that message? What is that conversation? What is that technology that you are experiencing? And are you upgrading your technology? Are you downloading the software, just like you focus so much every night on, oh, is my phone, downloading the latest software? Is my phone upgrading throughout the night? I mean, what is it called? Yeah, is it not upgrading? Is it, yeah, I think it's called upgrading. Anyways, we're drawing a
It's
blank here.
updating the software.
Updating the software. Yeah, upgrading, updating. Like when we're channeling, we just forget about everything. And so, excuse us. Yeah. And see these simple words, it's like, I don't know my phone. I don't need to know my phone. Like I could pay someone to do that, of course, if that's available, right? Like this is the minimal things of our problems, right? Because just a little bit of insight, we were doing yard work yesterday and like we were proud of everything. It was so beautiful and all that. And we're like, but then it's gonna grow again. And we're gonna have to do it again. And we're gonna, right? And it's like, why do I focus so much beauty to make it so much beautiful if it's gonna grow in a week from now? And I'm gonna have to go right back at it and do it all over again. And I'm gonna do this constantly, every single week, maybe every single 2 weeks, depending, but every single week, especially if it rains, I'm gonna have to go back at it quicker. But the point is this. I love the example that the Buddhist monks do. They sit there for hours and they take these shavings and they create these beautiful, beautiful, exquisite mandalas that they could sell for millions of dollars. Literally, literally. They create these beautiful mandalas. And guess what they do? They go get a broom. They start sweeping it up. Beautiful. I remember when I saw it for the first time, I'm like, you freaking idiots. Like, what are you doing? Like, I wish I could do something like that. Why would you destroy such beauty?
Yeah.
But the reason why they do that is to show that the beauty is not outside of us. The beauty outside will come and go. Actually, the truth of the matter is, if you see anything beauty of nature, it has its destructive quality. That's just part of beauty. So if you go to the Amazon, yeah, you're going to find the beautiful secrets of nature and all of that, but you're also going to find the most deadliest creatures in the world, right? If you go to a beautiful waterfall, or whatever, like you go surfing and you want to experience this beautiful experience, it's also very dangerous. You got to respect the elements and things like that. So the reason why we're sharing that is not knowing who you are is dangerous. It's destructive. But yet it opens up this beauty to face that destructiveness, to face that confusion. On the other side of that is the greatest beauty that you could ever discover. And
Hmm.
until you do that, like, we're not saying this to program you, but until you do that, if you're looking on the outside, you're always dependent on the outside. And you're going to blame everything outside. You're going to depend on everything outside. You're going to wonder why everything outside, you're going to have your highs, your extreme highs. But then when those lows come, you're going to have your extreme lows, because that's just part of the balance of the cycle of nature of life itself. You can't escape this. No one can. But what you can do is you can realize and remember that there's a harmonics that can only be found within. That when you align with those harmonics, that life can go like this and life can go like that. But when you're tuning into the harmonics, you're allowing life to be as it is, and you're aligning with the universal path of least resistance, that whether it's a fetus, whether it's an embryo, whether it's a seed, whether it's a blossom of a flower, whether it's the unfolding of the universe itself, it's the same harmonics that you're aligning with. And let me just say, call it the zero point field, call it samadhi, call it, the kingdom of heaven, call it nirvana, call it bliss. Doesn't matter what you call it. The question is, are you experiencing for yourself? Are you hoping, wishing, praying, and striving for what you already are? Because if you're doing the work to be awake, then that you're doing to be awake is accepting that you're not awake. But when you realize that you are the awakened state and not you, the person, Shakti is the awakened state. The computer is vibrating the awakened state. The sun is vibrating the awakened state. Life itself is vibrating the awakened state. And think about it, us even having this conversation, it takes an awakened state to even experience all of these cells, all of these neurons, all of these vibrational frequency, energetic patterns, algorithms, programs coming into fruition to make something so seamlessly simple and flawless be the most complex, the most the most incredible technology is the extension of life itself. And I don't know what else to say after that, because there's nothing. But yeah, Shakti, if you,
That
because
was
we could,
everything and
Shakti,
nothing and
we
nothing
can
and
do this.
everything.
Yeah, we could do this for thousands of years. I mean, it's been done. So go ahead, Shakti. I know we can do this forever. And this is why we do this, is we connected and we're like, this needs to be shared. So thank you. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, forget anything else that I said, you said. Anyone who's listening, if you would, I invite you to take a pause and just witness what you are watching or what you are hearing. That there are two people without rehearsing here in front of you live, speaking exactly the same language, talking about the same concepts in complete agreement. It's not because we are putting up a show. It's because we really, truly, authentically, genuinely believe what we are saying. And it just so happens week after week, we come and we talk about, we decide a concept and then we start discussing it. And then he takes it from one side, I take it from another side, but we're using the same core concept and the same understanding from our completely opposite experiences of life that have led us to a convergence point of talking the same language. So it goes to show that all paths, all mirrors, all lessons, all experiences are leading us all home. to the same place, which is the realization that we are not separate. As long as that illusion persists of duality and separation from one another and the divine, that is when we are lost. That is when we buy into the whole 9 to 5, needing things, buying things, the whole thing that keeps us in stress and keeps us um, unhappy. And like Michael pointed out, that really the qualifier is, do you know yourself? When you look in the
Yeah.
mirror, aside from your stories, how do you feel? Are you vibrating free from the illusion, or are you vibrating along with the illusion that when good things happen, you feel happy and high and great, and when bad things happen, you feel down? Can you hold your vibration steady through the ups and downs? Because, again, as Michael said, destruction and creation are the two ends of the same candle. You can't have one without the
Mm.
other. And destroying beautiful works of art, I mean, nature is the most beautiful canvas, but the sun sets and it goes black, and then the sun rises and the whole sky lights up with all the vibrant colors. And that is the cycle. And as long as we resist that and we think it should be rainbow technicolor all the time, that's when we're living in disillusion. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
wait for the moon. And when you actually live in that heightened state of awareness, of gratitude, and living in every moment, then every moment is spectacular. I mean, as beautiful as that sunset is, I mean, when the moon comes out, every night it's a different shape. It gives off different light. We see some stars and we don't see the others depending on how bright the moon is or how much cloud there is. And there's such beauty in that. And then, like I said, the sunset, sunrise, what beauty is there in that? And then you go through the day and it's just every moment has beauty, infinite beauty. But we, again, because of the separation, we like to say, oh my God, it's so hot and I wish it would rain. And it rains and you just think, oh, it's so muddy. And now I wish it would dry. And then it's too cold. And then it's because we can just never be happy. Because until we know who we are within us, again, as Michael alluded to that point, that we're blaming the outside, we're waiting for the outside to make us happy, to make us fulfilled, to make us feel XYZ way. Whereas actually the answer is on the breath and in your heart.
And thank you for sharing that because the one thing is that we have, this synergy with the word C, the word with the C. When you complain or you criticize or you try to contain life, it really is you wanting to control the uncontrollable. And what I mean by this is that, like, think about your breath. Are you able to control it right now? But yet you think you can control your life? If you think you can control your life, if you think you're an expert or a master at anything, then, like, tell me, how do you control your breath? Are you breathing? Because just the simple process of breathing, most of us breathe unconscious. I mean, just feel your muscles right now. How tense are they? We think we're so much in control of our life that it's the very reflection that we don't have any control of our life. And until we submit to that, because as Shakti was saying, is, you can experience life, but the thing is, you can't control life. And when you surrender, see, this is the secret of nature that even when we talk about it's going to be like entertainment for the mind. This is why, like, I know we're not here to say this, but, we've kind of like relinquished the flag to say, you know what, whenever it comes up, we're just going to say it. This is why it's important to, follow up and align with someone who's already vibrating and living this because we don't believe it. I know you said that, Shakti, and I know we know this. We know this. Like, we don't believe this. We know this. This is why we haven't given up. Because if we believe this, we would have been like, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go get a 9 to 5 because I don't believe I can help someone else. I'm gonna go get a 9 to 5 because I don't believe I have the capacity to speak from experience. We know that, like, how do we say this? We know, but we don't know. Because I don't want people to think that we are saying we know everything and we're, like, excuse me for saying this, but hot shit, right? No, we're right in the middle of the experience with all of you because we're mirrors. So the reason why we say this is, tune into someone who's already experiencing this and doesn't have what you want, because that's the mind, but that's vibrating the vibration that you feel that is calling you, but you feel like, well, how can I do this? How does this work? I don't even know where to start. Tune into Shakti, tune into Cora, tune into Michael, tune into other mirrors that have already mirrored, basically dissolved layers of the mirror that are foggy and misty and cloudy, and that you can't see a clearer version of yourself. Because when you see through a mirror, you're going to see a clearer version of yourself. It's not even about us, it's about you. So this is why we say this is not about information, this is about remembrance. So what we wanted to highlight with that is to share that don't think that life doesn't happen to us. But when life happens to us, we realize that there is a greater plan, there is a greater orchestration, that what is happening to us is not happening against us, it's happening for us. So either it's happening for us to consciously let go of what no longer serves us, because we will unconsciously let go of what no longer serves us. This is called trauma, this is called crisis, this is called pain, suffering. Like we're gonna let go. The question is, do you want to let go in a romantic, intimate, ecstasy type of way? Or do you want to let go in a victim, savior, plane that you don't have no control of your reality kind of way? So the control that you do have, if you want to say control, is to let go. Is to let go and allow the universe to be what it is. You cannot control it. And the other part is that when you do let go of this control, then you align with your higher self, your child of God, your child of the universe self that knows like the truth of who you are. And when you tune into this technology, to this intelligence, to this awareness, you take action from a place of presence, whether you take action from a place of presence and pronoia, meaning the universe is serving your highest good, rather than performance, pretending from the persona of paralysis, of pain, of pressure, because it happens to all of us. The pain and pressure happens to all of us. We even had a little pain and pressure to get on Zoom. The microphone didn't want to work, but what did we do? We breathe, we said, okay, what's going on here? And we recognize the feel. We're like, okay, we recognize you, because the pain and the pressure is the etheric body of the internet, of the the frequency that is from the old timeline, thinking that we're just having a Zoom, knowing that it's recognizing that we're not having another Zoom. We're literally the world speaking to the world itself. We're the universe speaking to the universe itself. And we recognize this. And we recognize this. The algorithms of the old timeline are kind of adjusting of, oh, wait a minute, this clothing is not real. This coding is not real. This algorithm, there's something more than this that I've been programmed to believe I am. And that's what we are mirroring together. So we invite you, beloveds, to really feel into what you just heard and what you've heard Shakti share. And thank you for sharing that as well, because this just came through. And this is like what when you discover the simplicity, when you unveil what is this simplicity, you don't have to chase it. You are it. When you unveil this, you realize, and then there's even a part of you that wants to beat yourself up. It's like, how come I didn't see this simplicity before? How come I had to go through all of this and do all of this and all of these different things, right? And then when you discover the simplicity, you're like, wow. Like the ancestors that dissolved, that surrendered control, that surrendered their pleasures of life. Because back then, it was a luxury to have this. Now it's a necessity. It's a necessity if we're going to speak into the 3D experience. So before the ancestors, when they discovered this deepest truth of I am, of God, source, universe, doesn't matter where they came from, doesn't matter what timeline they existed, doesn't matter what form they look like, it doesn't matter what is it, geographical location they lived, they all reflected the same reflection of the same truth. But yet now we have all this technology, we have all this sophistication, we have all this information, but we can't even agree on one thing. But yet that's who we listen to as a collective. But the very truth that how is it that everyone in every timeline, in every location that surrendered to the deepest truth reported the same thing? I ask for you to look at that because if they all reported the same thing, what does this say? That there's a universal truth that is not going to be found on the outside. This is why we're manifesting what we're manifested. We've already manifested that the brain can have its freedom to do whatever it wants. But look where it took us. What we're witnessing is the freedom of the brain to think that it is God. That's what we're witnessing. And we wonder why things are going the way they are. How are we going to manifest change? We're doing it from a place of mind. And Albert Einstein said this: we cannot solve a problem with the same level of consciousness or mind perspective persona that created it. But we continue to do the same thing, expecting different results. In definition, that's insanity. So if you're tired of the insanity, we ask you to join the mirrors of this remembrance because we're going to share the same thing every week, and we're going to live it every day, every moment, because this is what we live and breathe. And it is not us being experts. It is us being dissolved, surrendered, open, receptive mirrors, vessels, conduits, instruments, technological devices, sharing the greatest technology, sharing the greatest remembrance, sharing the greatest truth. Not that we are the greatest truth, but I am is the greatest truth that like we get to dance with this experience. We don't because you can experience the experience, but don't let it define who you are in the experience. So things happen to us every single day, but we're like, oh, we get to be the awakened state, dancing in the illusion of the dream. There's a difference than being the dream, trying to be awakened, trying to be saved, trying to be changed, but yet wondering why nothing seems to work. We played that for over 20 years.
Yes, exactly. And that is what it comes down to. That you dance that 20 years, I dance that 20 years. Um, and it's only when we really do the work through either life will teach us by a series of traumatic events or challenges or whatever that we need to overcome. And that's when we start going inside. Like when you hit rock bottom, is when you are given no other option but the choice to surrender. And that's when each person reaches that place from a different experience. And it's to recognize that when that time comes, it is your day of reckoning. It is your choice point that do you want to continue believing in the illusion and the separation, or do you really want to go within where God resides, where the I am exists independent of the mind and the ego. And it is really then about being conscious that it is a huge privilege to be born human. It is a great privilege to be part of this illusion, to
Yes.
be off it, but to be in it, but not off it. And then to vibrate and enjoy the biology, the taste, the experience of being human, feeling things, touching things, tasting things, experiencing things, and the infinite beauty of this illusion. I mean, ever since I left Michael a month ago in Yuma, I've been on the east coast of America. I've been to England. I traveled to the Land's End, which is the edge of the island of England. I'm now in Paris, in France, in southwest France, up in a very quaint medieval village made of stone. And you step out, and the neighbors all know each other, and it's just so sweet. I know the name of the village dog, and it's just, oh my God, the world is so beautiful. And why do we want to waste our time in hating each other and judging each other and fighting for our right to live, for the money to pay the bills? I mean, why? When we have the choice point of coming back to our hearts and knowing that everybody around us is our brother and sister because we share the same cells. We are the same cell organism on Mother Earth, like I said, which is a small speck of dust in the whole cosmos. And we make such a big deal of our like 1 second lives. I mean, really, when you take a step back, it is a bit ridiculous. And
Yeah.
so we invite you to take that step back so
Yeah.
that you can come forward with us in convergence to live life with a high vibration and just infinite joy.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about, really. It is
Yeah.
that simple, like Michael said. And then you will realize, oh my God, was it that simple? But before that, you have to walk the path. Before that, you have to do the work. Before that, you have to dissolve yourself and all your attachments and expectations and limitations and really choose to surrender, where surrender is a giving in, not a giving up.
Yes, that's beautiful. And something that came to us as you were sharing, because I know we started a little late. Um, we do have the Vibrillionaire after party if you want to join us. We're not going to be able to stay too long because we do have our puppy graduation. And that's part of the human experience, right? Our puppy is God, just like everyone else is God. Like literally, our trash is God. I know that sounds kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
When we throw our trash, we're grateful for everything that served us that's in that trash. I mean, it becomes a
Yes.
whole ceremony. And I love that you mentioned that, Shakti, because I mean, we've met in person. You know that everything is a ceremony to us. Like every single experience is a ceremony. Me drinking this water, I mean, I love our water more than anything, Vibrillionaire water. But when I was drinking the water and you were sharing what you're sharing, I want to give a little like we were invited to give a little reflection. When you're in the desert and you haven't drank water for 3 days, 4 days, and you're looking for that little spring, that little creek, whatever water that you can find, if you find one drop of water, that will satiate your thirst in that moment. I know it sounds crazy because the mind is like, what? A drop of water. But that drop of water, it doesn't even have to be clean water. It could be filthy, like nasty water that's been there for days. But you find that water, your level of thirst, of facing death, of facing utter, like you dissolving into the elements. I mean, you talk about dissolving. Your skin, everything will dissolve into the sand and back to earth itself, right? We're all going to be swallowed back. The point is this, that one drop will satiate you. And not just physiologically, it'll satiate your mind that has been chasing for this sustenance that is not going to come from body, is not going to come from mind. It's going to come from presence. And just like we mirrored this about being in the desert, you may feel like you're in the desert right now. You may feel like you've been looking for that happiness, that bliss, that excitement, that joy, that fulfillment, that accomplishment. And just like you mentioned about France, beloved, this is what we experience here. And nobody really comes over. Nobody comes to talk to us. Nobody comes to visit us. But we're in the greatest company. And we're not escaping and we're not chasing. And it's such a beautiful thing that when you were sharing that about France, it's like whether we're having a breakthrough or a breakdown with mom and Cora, or whether we're watching a movie, whether we're having dinner, it's a never-ending experience with God. And we're not saying like do what we do because it's not about the doing. It's about the experiential attuning to what already is. So, you know, Michael coming from prison, finding the greatest freedom that, you know, that moment does so much every single day because it's like when you can experience freedom, when you had all the opposite evidence of not freedom, it's like the mind can't play its game anymore. And this is why we go through the darkest experiences because there's a saying, the people that suffer the most are the ones with the greatest purpose. Now, yes and no, because life itself is the greatest purpose. You are living the greatest purpose. But when we say about sharing it, about helping other people, this is why we go through the greatest suffering because it's like the mind is so stubborn that it thinks it knows who it is, that when you go through that suffering, the mind has no choice but to surrender. Well, I mean, it's given the illusion of choice. But anyways, because you've experienced the greatest suffering, there's nothing wrong with you. You're being molded and shaped and formed, and you're being what do you call it, polished and sanded. Like, you know, when you sand the wood because if you paint it, you're gonna have all these little, right? That's just like life itself. So life is not happening against you. You're being sanded, so you can be buffed, so you can be painted, so you can be varnished, so you could shine like the glory of life that you are.
Mm-hmm. Like the coal that turns into a diamond and then gets buffed to a shine to be set upon a ring. That is really beautiful. And I wanna
We are complete. Thank you. So you go ahead and you close us out. We are complete. So join us next week. Oh, you're going to say that because next week is the final gate.
But
Go
before,
ahead.
yes, exactly. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to say how next week is gate 13, which is, oh my God, our completion of Signal 2 in normal language at season 2.
That's right.
So, oh my God, this is unbelievable that we're gonna start season 3, Signal 3 from the week after. So, yes, we joined a bit late, but now the time is up. So, I shall wrap us out. And this has been an amazing, amazing conversation. My hope is that or my faith is that it will ring out across the ether and reach the right people who are ready to receive this message at this point in time.
Already done.
So join us next Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is noon Eastern, for our Signal to Gate 13. Bye for now.